What's up, everybody? On today's video, we're going to talk about the top 10 most famous people from the state of Florida. Known as a playground for the wealthy, it is no surprise that this state is an influential place where celebrities, politicians, and other people want to live and be seen. Many creators have made top 10 lists of famous people from Florida, but I'm going to give you guys the real deal on the top 10 most famous people that call the Sunshine State their home. Florida is like a trampoline for politicians. They jump here and they land in bigger places. We're not just going to tell you who these famous people are, but we're also going to give you a tour of the neighborhood they're from or where they live. And in true fashion for our channel, these are not file photos. Number 1 is Donald Trump, who was the President of the United States. His compound by the name of Mar-a-Lago sits on the coast of Palm Beach County, and it is one of the most secure places in the United States. While this place may look normal, in the background there's many safety and security features that the local residents are not always happy about. They want to live their happy millionaire life along the coast, but the fact that this man is here, being influential and powerful and a big political figure, the neighbors have to deal with excessive security. Clearly, they're not excited about having this big wig politician living in their otherwise quiet neighborhood. Living in this Palm Beach County neighborhood can set you back as much as $40 to $80 million. Number 2 is Kodak Black from Pompano Beach, Florida, aka The No. He was from a project of government housing that is inhabited by Haitian American communities. Kodak Black is undoubtedly one of the most famous rappers of the last 20 years. And across the United States is one of the people you're going to hear his music just about everywhere you go. In fact, along Panama City Beach, the last time I was there, it was probably the only thing you would hear coming out of people's subwoofers. Apparently, he still frequents this area quite often in a very clandestine fashion. Coming from nothing, a Haitian American background, and being pardoned by Donald Trump, the President of the United States, gave him a legend-like status among rappers. I first heard his music on a mixtape that I had in Naples, Florida when he was underground. He was the last person on that mixtape you thought was gonna make it. Number 3 is Mr. Washington, better known by the name of Plies, from Fort Myers, Florida. Just like Kodak Black is the hottest thing right now, about 10 years ago, Plies was the hottest artist in Florida, and he really paved the way for a lot of other Florida artists from small towns like Broward County to make it in an industry that before was dominated by bigger places. Today, it is believed that he lives somewhere near Tampa or Orlando, from an area around MLK in the heart of the city. Undoubtedly the most famous person to come out of Southwest Florida. His initial album talked about subjects like losing friends to the criminal justice system, and it brought light to the pain and suffering of these individuals and their family when somebody that they loved was lost to the criminal justice system. Fort Myers is cleaned up a lot today. In the time that he was popping off, it was one of the most dangerous cities in the country. In his particular neighborhood, one of the worst. Number 4 is Pitbull, Armando Cristian Perez. Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305, not only is Pitbull a rapper, but he is also a very successful businessman. Undoubtedly, being a rapper, he must have spent a lot of time in Northwest Miami. However, he's from Southwest Miami, the Cuban American neighborhood. Just like Haitian Americans, Cuban Americans also have a nothing to something story to tell, and Pitbull is no exception. With the help of Little John and albums like M.I.A.M.I., Pitbull was a Scarface-like rap figure. However, his recent artist work has left his initial fan base feeling like he sold out. Number 5 is the Island Boys, Frankie and Alex Venegas. They're from Palm Beach County in Florida. People say they suck and they have no talent, but they still got famous. Some say they have no talent, they're not even from the hood, but they're on TikTok, Facebook, and on YouTube. Big Bag Entertainment is their YouTube name. These young men made a come up like no other. The sheer lack of not having any talent whatsoever is probably their biggest call to fame. Nonetheless, they do have a musical career of some sort. Many people suspect that their fame will be short-lived since their music is pretty much a dumpster fire. On an island, claimed to be Cuban, even though I'm really a Cuban born in Cuba and I can't understand anything they try to say in Spanish. Of course, their audience doesn't speak Spanish, so they don't know the difference. In fact, if you're not Cuban or Haitian, you're not going to make this list. Other than Grady Judd, this guy is genuinely loved by the people. He's the current sheriff of Polk County, Florida. This is a very outspoken individual who has a talent for being hilarious and cracking on criminals and letting them know they're not welcome in Polk County. His stories about catching criminals and taking rappers' gold chains and wearing them as if they were his have gone viral throughout the internet, and he swears that if he catches anybody breaking the law in Polk County, they're going to be arrested and assigned a husband in the Polk County jail. This has scared a lot of people from wanting to be a criminal in this county, and he's loved by the people. He's genuine, and while a lot of people are just trying to use social media to get famous and try to become a president, for example, a lot of people think this guy is actually genuine. Lots of other politicians have tried to copy his formula, but you can tell they're not as genuine. This guy's just being himself. Number 7 is Trick Daddy from the streets of Miami, Liberty City. Also, the 2 Live Crew is from here, as well as other artists like Trina, all came up in the same era. Despite the fact not everybody in Florida listens to Trick Daddy, if you go to Miami, I guarantee you're going to hear the locals still listening to Trick Daddy to this day. He may not be famous and popular in other parts of Florida, but please believe that in Dade County, Florida, Trick Daddy is still very relevant. From Hialeah to Homestead, anywhere in Dade County, and let me tell you, it's not just the music, it was also the donk, the Caprice Chevys. It was like an entire lifestyle, music, cars, but Trick Daddy was like the ambassador for this entire movement. Number 8, T Payne. The T stands for Tallahassee, and T Payne is the number 1 person you think of. When you think about Tallahassee, Florida, T Payne is almost synonymous, is that the right word, with Tallahassee. Yeah, Florida's capital. You go there, you're thinking T Payne. His music was different. Many people said he sounds like a robot. Despite making autotune kind of mainstream and popular, on a recent interview, T Payne actually noted that autotune has already been used since like the 70s, especially in rock music and the use of guitars and other instruments. The man's unique music style and his humility has made him an adored figure in Florida music, and when you think of Tallahassee, undoubtedly T Payne is what comes to mind. A unique sound, a humble person, definitely one of the most famous people in the state. To number 9, Judge Judy can be found in the Pelican Bay neighborhood of North Naples. She is said to ride around in a Rolls Royce with a poodle on her way to one of her favorite restaurants along US 41. And Judge Judy really isn't the only famous person to call North Naples home. Barbara Walters is another person said to live in the vicinity, and in fact, I grew up in North Naples, and I can say that it is absolutely a normal thing to run into movie stars at Marshall's or at one of your favorite restaurants. There's a lot of famous people that call North Naples home, but undoubtedly, Judge Judy is one of the higher notoriety people that you're going to run across in Naples, Florida. Some of the locals say she's as dry and angry in person as she is on TV. And she could definitely win the Karen of the Year award. She could be the poster child for Karens. Try to get her autograph, you're probably going to get tasered. Number 10 is Gloria Estefan, another Cuban American that has left her mark on television and music in the United States. A beloved figure who mixed Cuban American flavors with American entertainment. Come on, everybody, now do the Conga. Alright, guys, and that is the top 10 list of the most famous people you will run into on a common basis in the state of Florida. And I just thought if we were in a mall and all these people were all in the same place, who would get the attention? When I figured, well, if Donald Trump's there, then Ron DeSantis doesn't have a chance to make this list. And what could I say about him if I had put him on this list? Pretty much, if Donald Trump and Grady are there, there's nobody going to go to the DeSantis table. Just like other YouTubers, most of the lists that I saw on the internet were dominated by rappers and politicians, and unfortunately this is the only thing Florida can give the world. So let's just grab the absolute two most detrimental occupations on earth, and that's what Florida gives you. Man, in Alabama we got the greatest country singer, Hank Williams. California, we have like the greatest tech companies in the world. All my exes live in Texas. Hey Holmes, don't forget about Selena, man, she can sing. Idaho, I have a potato. Even Idaho contributes something better to society than Florida. All that Florida gives you is rappers and politicians. Those are two horrible things to give the world. And they're not even like lyrical rappers like from New York, you know, like Big L or Big Pun. Now these guys are like, I'm an island boy, I'm an island. The only real person on this list that's like respectable is probably like T Payne and Gloria Estefan. Like everybody else on this list, well, Grady Judd's pretty cool, but like everybody else on this list could definitely, I mean, even like Trick Daddy's an old guy nowadays. He's like old. Like Trick Daddy is an old man, and he's still getting arrested for like crashing his Range Rover into like sidewalks in Hialeah and stuff. It's not like he's grown up. Yeah, pretty soon rappers are gonna be elderly. I don't know if you guys ever thought about that. Alright, there it is. That is my personal opinion. No association disclaimer, by the way. Personal opinion disclaimer. This is what I think of the most famous people in Florida. Is there anybody that I missed that you think should have been on the list? I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to say Ron DeSantis, but it's almost like, well, if we already got Grady Judd, we got Donald Trump, like how many? It's just going to be like, really, it's really sucks that there's nothing else. Like, I thought about putting an astronaut. Like, there's astronauts from Florida, but then I thought, they're not really that famous. I worked in a property in Fort Myers Beach or Bonita Springs, and when I got the check, Katie was like, oh my gosh, you worked for an astronaut. I was like, I don't know, I just worked for a guy. So it's like, they're not like really famous. Like, even if you met them, you wouldn't know who they were. Yeah, they're symbolic people, but like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, could Florida contribute something better to society, or is there somebody else from Florida that I missed that has a more significance, a more historical significance? Because if I get a bunch of comments telling me that there's other people that I should have thought about, like when you think about Alabama, you might think about Hank Williams Jr., you might think about Rosa Parks. Hey, maybe we could do a top 10 most famous people from Alabama. You guys think we should do that? Get in the comments section and let me know if we should remake this list and add more people, or if I should move on to the next state because I covered it pretty well. But there's definitely no Rosa Parks or Hank Williams Jr. in Florida. There's just an island boy and Pitbull, who kind of sold out his original character, his persona that he initially had, his original fan base. There's no way they still like who he is today. Yes, he went on to make hundreds of millions of dollars when he gentrified himself. I don't even know what the right word is for that. Maybe Pitbull just grew up, got smart, got to the money. Do you guys think Pitbull is a sellout, or do you guys think Pitbull is a smart business person? Let me hear your thoughts and opinions on that as well. And by the way, Palm Beach County isn't an island. Cuba is not. I'm an island boy because I was actually born in Cuba. The Palm Beach County is not an island. Talking about Cuba, Osmani Garcia, Chocolate, and a bunch of artists from Cuba have moved to Miami in the last year, especially Afro-Cubans. They have a type of reggaeton called repartero, which is like a Caribbean type of dancehall type of reggaeton type of thing. And this is like taking over Miami. It's all over Miami. And all of the artists that were originally in Cuba are starting to move to Miami. So I even considered putting somebody like Chocolate MC on this list, considering that all these artists from Cuba are starting to move into the Miami area. So there's definitely a lot of other subgenres that we could have got into, but it seems like rappers are definitely the most prominent. Without glorifying the lifestyle, I even thought about making a top 10 best rappers in Florida list, but like, and it's just showing their neighborhoods, of course, because I can't use their music for copyright issues, and I don't want to promote that garbage. Like, most of them are just, their content is not something that I would want to promote to begin with, but I thought that was just going to be too trashy of a video for this channel. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Get at me. Jose from Southern Life. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Thank you for checking in.